Thank you, Max. Egg prices have been in the headlines for weeks. Many consumers are wondering when prices will go down. One culprit of the high costs, bird flu. But now a poultry vaccine could be used to address the nationwide issue. We spoke with a professor at the LSU School of Veterinary Medicine to learn more about what's next.
2 weeks ago, the Agriculture Department said it granted a conditional license for an H5N2 bird flu vaccine designed to work against variants of the H5N1 virus. It was the H5N1 virus that claimed the life of a Southwest Louisiana individual earlier this year. Since 2022, the virus has affected more than 150 million birds.
So Zoetis just got a conditional license, which means it can be used for emergencies, that sort of things, but it's not on the market just yet. It's not commercialized.
Rebecca Christofferson is an associate professor at the LSU School of Veterinary Medicine who specializes in infectious disease transmission.
In 2023, France actually rolled out a bird flu vaccine for their duck industry and saw some great success there.
Christofferson says she believes this vaccine push comes after months of farmers having to kill their flocks to avoid spread, and of course, the current increased egg prices. She says this could be a partial solution to those problems, but not without issue.
If you vaccinate chickens against bird flu, a lot of companies won't necessarily take the export of that chicken. And so that does pose a problem. I know that's one of the issues right now with rolling this out is how do we get over those trade restrictions or how is it going to affect the industry? It's something like a $5 billion industry.
If this poultry vaccine were distributed, what exactly would that look like? What are the next steps?
So what happens in vaccine development is you have years and years and years of development, and then you finally get a product that you think is good. And then you go through years and years and years of clinical trials and safety and efficacy and all this kind of thing. Then you get licensed. So that license says, okay, we've reviewed all the data, the government's given it, the gold stamp. After that, you have what's called indication.
Indication in the human world comes from the CDC, specifically from ACIP, or the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That process designates specifically who in the population would benefit most. In terms of a veterinary vaccine, the process is similar, but instead of indication through the CDC, animal vaccines are given after the USDA decides on whether the vaccines will be commercialized or not.
So Zoetis has, the vaccine's been developed, right? They would just have to up production. But at this point, the main conversation is going to be big poultry industry, because really it's the economic stress is driving this conversation.
Christofferson says other preventative measures are still being put in place in some farms, like increasing biosecurity and wearing protective gear like gloves and masks when handling flocks.
Other experts say they're concerned about silent spread, where transmission occurs in asymptomatic birds. A USDA spokesperson told NBC that the conditional license doesn't mean that it has approved the vaccine for commercial use or that poultry farmers can purchase it at this time. Again, the CDC stresses the risk for human spread remains low.